All right, you guessed it. We're back at Cooter's garage, putting the transfer case armor on. We had remembered that this piece slides underneath the armor, so you can see the bolt went right through it. There's a welded nut up in there. And then we have a flag nut in the frame rail. This here, we just have tie wrap because the engine armor comes down and then bolts go up through this and sandwich it up against the tranny cross member. There's a piece of steel, a connecting piece above this armor that goes across like this. So we're gonna nut and bolt that up, and we'll have that transfer case skid plate all installed. Okay, you can see what's going on right now. So the weight of the rear axle is on the jack stands on the table. We're disconnecting the sway bar end links. You can see they're disconnected there. Then it'll be the shocks. And then that should allow us to go up with the lift, flex this out, or droop the rear axle enough to put the rear coil springs in. So that's what's going on right now. Meanwhile, Colin has put together the quad. He ended up changing the carburetor. He put a whole brand new electrical wiring harness in. So this thing will be back on the trail soon as well. Okay, so the new rock crawler springs are in. Now again, this is a 3.5-inch spring. Has the 1-inch Terraflex spacer sitting on top of the isolator. You can see it up there. The shock bolts are started with the nut on each side. We can see it right there. We had to loosen up, we had to take a couple pins out of that harness, which has more than enough slack for full droop, as well as the axle tube vent. That thing was never stressed out. I think we're gonna be using this top hole on the track bar bracket, track bar relocation bracket right here. You can see where I was. We're gonna go here, I think, to the top one. We have brand new sway bar end links, which we can set up so that these are proper. The sway bar right here, you can see it. Okay, you can now see the track bar bolt going through the relocation bracket to a flag nut. That's in the go position. Never at once was the ABS sensor wiring in any, it wasn't stretched tight at all at full droop. I do have coil spring retainers. That's kind of interesting. We'll see. I mean, it's a large washer that gets mounted in there that is supposedly will hold that coil up. Oh, I think a big mistake we made. Okay, as an install reminder, don't forget the wedges. We had to drop it back down and put those tapered wedges in the bottom of the coil springs. You can see they're thicker on the high side, and then they taper down on an angle that way to help keep the coil orientated properly. I think that's, yeah. There you go, there's a good look at them. Just set the piston jack right on the bump stop, and I was able to press that new Rugged Ridge bump stop. Right there's the Terraflex one. So with the piston jack right here, I was able to just pump it right up and press that one in. The axle's a little canted right now, but we'll adjust all of that when the time comes. Okay, you can see the second one in.
Certainly explains why that fixed cock out is.
Hi.
Got the washers on both sides of the banjo bolt.
I put two washers. I think they're on the same side.
No, one on each side.
No, they're both on the same side. They're spacers. Yeah, there's a copper washer on each side.
Yeah.
This is hand torqued right here.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Brake line comes up. Yep, you can see we got the clip on there.
Right there. Notice the position of the clip. Notice Mike puts it to the top and he puts this towards the back. All right, and that is started right there. It's just not tightened, correct?
It's hand tight.
So that's a 12 right here and a 15. That's both of them right there.
Okay.
12 and a 15.
So, hey, I'm going to grab something else. You can show people this. When you're doing these.
Yeah.
And unlike your OE lines, I'll run them up with a regular open end wrench, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did a good job by hitting these with penetrating oil.
Ah, yeah.
It's free.
Yeah, we hit all that stuff with oil before this job started. So they are spinning nice.
We'll snug that up. What I'll do is, let me grab something. This is just round hole, round thing. There's nothing to keep this from turning like that when you go to tighten it. The original ones are keyed in there, so you could put some torque on that,
Yeah.
and it'll hold the line in the right place. I'm using a
12.
flare nut wrench,
Yep, flare
which
nut.
grabs 3/4 of the socket nice and tight. And just, I don't know how many foot pounds that is, but you got to do enough of them, you get a feel for it.
Yeah.
Tight
All right.
enough so it's tight and it doesn't leak.
The shorter brake lines in the kit are for the rear.
That's it.
You can see this is started here. It just doesn't have the clip. We're bringing this down to the caliper.
So what we're going to do is we're going to tighten our two 18mm
Adapter bracket bolts.
adapter anchor bracket bolts. German tight, Guden tight.
Yeah. Yeah, I did have one of these come out once, and I had this is where the one of the calipers rolled back one on me and got caught inside the rim. So I do know what that is like. It's not pretty.
These are only 8mm with a 13 head, so these don't go nearly as tight.
Yeah, I think it's in the teens. I think it's like 16 or 18 foot-pounds on those.
And I tell you, if you torque these with a torque wrench, you'd probably be the only guy to ever.
Yeah, I'd be
done
the only
that.
guy to ever do it. I think I am that guy. Banjo bolt.
So, see, this is why I always say let's not tighten that yet.
Yeah, so that it can turn
because we need to rotate
to
it
where
like
that needs to come over. So that's why this is loose. That works out good.
So yeah, proper orientation. When you're doing your own, make sure a lot of times the copper washer will stick to the head of the banjo. Make sure you get the old one off. Banjo bolts are specific because, and don't make the mistake, I had somebody do this one time. They're like, I don't know why I don't have any brakes. They used the fine thread metric bolt. Fits the threads. It's like a 10mm thread, but it was just a regular bolt.
Yeah, the fluid.
So this has a hole in the end
Yeah.
that comes out the
It
side.
comes out the side. See, it started right there. Looking good. And just hand tight on those, you said, right?
Yeah, well, they'll go hand tight. There is a torque for them, but now keep in mind that's a hollow bolt. It's not strong like a regular 10mm grade 8 bolt would be. You don't want to break it. You don't want to pull the threads out. So that's probably about 18 foot-pounds.
Okay.
That's enough to crush the copper. And then here, so you can see how
Now that can be turned.
you have a little
'cause it's not tight.
rotational
Yeah.
movement. You can set that where you
So
need
you can
it.
line it up and we can get that.
The hose.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks good.
Snug the upper.
Need the clip.
Yep, we'll get the clip in there. A flare nut wrench on there and give her a good, you don't need to overdo it.
Clip is right on the bench right there in the corner.
That's it.
There it is. Brake lines, rear brake lines installed. Nice job. Okay, just to look at the JKS sway bar end link, you can see that the rod comes very long. So the idea is once you determine your proper length, however far this is, you want to take off from both sides. So you end up cutting the rod and modifying it, which we'll have to come up with that calculation. And for the rear sway bar, we're looking for 0 to -6. So you can see right there, 0 being perfectly level. You can see it drops down -3, -6. So there's the tolerance, -3 to -6. Talking with Mike, so the shocks are loose, but they're in. The coil springs are in, the wedges, the brake lines are completely done. We'll bleed the brakes later. The sway bar measurement, we're not gonna do till the vehicle's sitting under its weight. Then we can get the angle that we need with the sway bar and then make a measurement and cut the rods. Bump stops are in, and you can see right here that the rear drive shaft is going in with Loctites on the bolts. What was it, Mike, 8 mil?
Yeah.
So we're doing that. And then the rear's in really good shape. We're running out of time. We're probably gonna ramp it down a little bit, but once again, another great day. And quite honestly, we're gonna do the front drive shaft, but we'll be like 90% there. A little bit of work in the front, and then basically setting her on the ground, torquing everything, control arms, measuring for the track bar, adjusting the steering wheel for the drag link, telling the computer that we're running 513 gears. You know, there's a lot of adjustments that got to take place. You know, a lot was taken apart here. So basically it's going to be like a completely new vehicle, quite honestly. These coils still need to come out. We'll have to drop the front axle lower, undo the front shocks, the sway bar end links. So I think after I leave here today, we're going to be like 85, 90%. Okay, we tightened up the mounts for the shocks in the rear. These are all tightened up. The brakes are all done. The brakes are not bled, but we're okay with that. The adjuster sleeve, we know that we're going to be centering the body over the axle. So these bolts right here are all loose. I have turned this adjuster, it's fine. You'll notice that we're in the top mounting hole for the track bar relocation bracket. Per Mike's instruction, we're gonna wait till this vehicle is sitting on its weight. And then we'll set this up. So the directions say you want a 3 to 6 degree negative angle downward like that. And then we can get a measurement. And he has a bunch of different rods for end links. If not, we'll cut the one that we have. So that's to be done in the future, probably on the next visit. The rear drive shaft is all in, ready to rock. That's huge. The transfer case is in neutral right now. Obviously, I can turn it. We put the transfer case skid plate on. I just used some 1/4 bolts that Mike had for that connecting piece right here for the transfer case skid. You'll notice that this is installed right in there. There's a flag nut in the frame on the driver's side. And then there's basically leaves us the front. And we're like 85, 90% there. It's kind of like really just fun right now. If we had more time, we could knock it out, but work gets in the way, life gets in the way, but we don't want to rush it. It's coming out great. Easy peasy here down at Cooter's Garage. Right, Colin?
Yep.
All right.
Good to go.
Good to go. All right, sadly, we got serious snow coming down here in Connecticut, so we took the 37s, put them underneath the trailer. You can see I'm driving the Edge Crusher today, 2017 JKU Sport, covered in metal cloak, running a 2.5-inch Terraflex suspension lift. He's running brand new. This is his brand new set of KM3s right here, BF Goodrich KM3s. I drove this. I put a couple hundred miles on this Jeep today, and wow, what a fabulous ride on it. So, oh, geez, we got Vanna Cooter here.
Oh, that could be yours. From one trip to the Cooter shop.
So anyway, another great day down at Cooter's Garage. Stand by. The next video, the next time I'm here, should be the finish and the wrap up for the Recon One upgrades. A lot of people never see this. This is the actual worn portable winch right here. 8,000 pounds, Mike?
Yeah, it's 8,000.
Synthetic line, never used. Here's the harness, but notice this will fit into your 2-inch receiver. And you'll notice you have the plug. That means the power's sitting there ready to go. So 2 guys lift this with the handles right here, easy peasy. Set it into your hitch receiver, and now you're able to winch from the back of the vehicle. Really nice setup. I want to bring your attention to this shock. About 18 months ago, 2 years ago, I bought a Fox replacement bypass shock, which I thought was good for 3.5 inches of lift. And I don't know if you can notice, you can see that that is just not the case. The stem is 1 inch. So the driver's side is 1 inch shorter than the passenger side. So I may have to buy another rear shock. I mean, this is obviously a real good shock, but it does not have the length that I want. So I don't think it's going to hurt us out of the gate, but it's something that I need to be cognizant about, because you can see that the axle should be hanging perfectly level, and instead the driver's side is up 1 inch on this side, and that shock is maxed out. Mike measured it, and for whatever reason, I didn't get. It was supposed to be good for a 3.5 inch lift, and it's 1 inch shorter than the passenger side. Hey, not a deal breaker, but hey, at least we found it now. Really pleased with the brake line kit that I bought. That came from Extreme Terrain. ExtremeTerrain.com sold me this kit for this particular lift, and everything went together really nice. It's a good day today. All right, that's a wrap. We are close.